morning. How are you? It is 8:01 on a Tuesday morning. It is July the 18th. I'm WESH 2 First Warning meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week to chat about what's going on in the world of weather. And today, like yesterday, like the day before, will feature plenty of shower and thunderstorm activity. So let's hang out for the ride and do our thing. And just a reminder, yes, we will be talking about the tropics here, but we on Tuesdays do a deep dive on the tropics because it's Tracking the Tropics Tuesdays. So we'll do this thing, and then at 10 a.m. we'll go live again for the full Tracking the Tropics broadcast. So you have to tune in for that as well. If you're interested in going even deeper in the weeds, it makes my head hurt just thinking about it. But for now, let's start local because this is a broadcast phased for local. Look at that already off there in the distance. You see that? We've got some towering clouds off in the distance. There's downtown Orlando, but I spy with my little eye some towering cumulus clouds. It's beautiful otherwise, though, so at least we've got that. First warning, live Doppler radar. Pretty quiet in our area. I'll loop this, and you kind of see bottom left corner. We're tracking some rainfall coming on in. Let's zoom into it a little bit around, say, Pinellas County, up through Holiday, past Tarpon Springs. Yeah. Citrus, Hernando counties, watching a little bit of it. Now, we always like to use the closest radar possible. There's a look at the Tampa Doppler radar. You can see it there kind of sweeping just south of Tampa. Some pretty decent little thunderstorms working in. Let me zoom in a little closer, and you kind of see that stuff there. That does eventually want to move into Sumter and Polk counties, but for now, coming over to the metro and switching back over to our WESH radar, we're nice and quiet. That is, my friends, a nice, clean sweep. You gotta love a clean sweep in a morning hour, right? 79 degrees the current temperature in the city. We're sitting at about 78 in Claremont. It's 76 in the Villages and 75 degrees in Palm Coast. So a lovely start to the day outside. Absolutely lovely. Janice says an echo. I have no idea why there would be an echo. Everything is connected normally. Is there an echo? Let me click. Let me click on the stream. I'll watch it. You'll hear an echo here in a second. Loading. Of course, I try to load the Twitter feed, and the Twitter feed is about as slow as molasses. Okay, so we're not going to do that one. All right, let me go to the Facebook feed. Let me make sure we don't have an echo. Anyway, while I'm doing that, here's a look at our 12-hour forecast. Looking just fantastic across the city. Beautiful. Yes, we do develop showers. Yes, we do develop thunder showers. All right, let's see the echo. Yes, we do develop showers. Yes, we do develop thunder showers. It doesn't sound like an echo on my end, my love, so it must be on yours. I apologize. Yeah. So 50% coverage of seeing some rainfall today. High temperatures once again limited just a little bit, thanks to the thunderstorms around. 93 degrees will be our high temperature in the city today. 93 degrees in Claremont, 94 degrees there in Leesburg, 94 degrees in the Villages. And right at the beaches, 90, 91, 92, back over to the beaches. So there you go, friends. It's going to be a warm one, but at least the storms help to keep us just a couple of ticks lower. Just a couple of ticks lower. So there's that. Now, as far as Futurecast goes, let's take a gander and see what the model's showing. Shall we? This morning, a little bit of rain over on the West Coast. That absolutely lines up. Lunchtime, we're starting to bubble up that West Coast sea breeze. Moving in. 2:30, 3 o'clock, a few showers. And then it looks like kind of a later setup for storms today, right? You've got 5:30, 6 widely scattered showers and thunder showers, and then kind of lingering through 10 o'clock. One thing that's kind of interesting is that a few friends that work at the National Weather Service have popped up a windrose graphic, and of course, I think about it well after the fact. I think about it while I'm live on Coffee Talk. I'm not going to have time to build it, but essentially, over the last few weeks, summer really, we've been sitting with a west wind, which means all the rain has wanted to focus eventually over to the East Coast. You will usually see that for a little while, but not as long as we have. So it's been kind of an interesting little scenario, and today is no different, right? The metro off to the east is where we'll have the highest rain chances today yet again. So showers and thunder showers widely scattered, particularly in the metro off to the east. So there you go, Betty. When will the desert dust hit Florida? Oh yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But before we get to the tropics, let's just hang locally. Let's talk local, do our stuff. And it's going to be a stormy day. So looking for things to do today. The water park is always a favorite, at least to me. Yeah, rain developing around lunchtime and then getting stormy through the afternoon. If you're wanting to head over to SeaWorld, find ways to get cold, cool down. It's going to be a hot one. Not hot enough for heat advisories. Still today, though, places like Texas and Louisiana and Mississippi, all of those areas highlighted in red or pink have either heat advisories or excessive heat warnings. But I will also point out, once again, South Florida under those advisories. Not here, but Palm Beach County, Glades, Hendry County, Broward, Miami-Dade, down to Monroe, Lee County. Yeah, not good. And then down through even non-mainland Monroe, like down through the Keys. So heat advisories are posted. But for us, this pattern is favoring the opportunity to get those showers and those thunder showers at least a little earlier. So for today, it's a good day to get into the backyard swimming pool. Just have to deal with those storms through the afternoon. If you're wanting to head to the beach today, not bad, not bad. Upper 80s, and then the storms eventually make it off to the beaches. So that's where we're at here locally. Any questions, any comments, any concerns? Thus far, we're going to do the 7-day forecast, and then we're going to talk tropics, because I know y'all are going to want to talk about it, and why not? What time, Chris is asking, is the Tuesday tropics? 10 a.m. today. My tuchus will be in this seat live, baby, and in living color. In stunning high definition. Yep. What's on my shirt? They're like, if I'm honest, they're like birds. They're like parrots and birds, but with weird patterns. It's a funky shirt. I like it. I like it. You know, it's funny. Maybe it's just the age and the status of life that I'm in, right? I'm like, well, I'm a dad now, so I can wear the funky shirts that I've always wanted to wear. I don't know. But you know who always has worn the funky shirts and didn't care? Alex Alisi. That boy always, always, always. Birds aren't real. I know, that's a whole thing. Right. All right, so let's talk about the 7-day forecast, my friends. And then we're going to do tropics and spend some time on the tropics. So today, 93, it's a 50% coverage of showers and thunder showers. It's going to be a stormy day. Don't worry, though. I'll be posting radar, and if anything gets feisty, we'll be updating that as well. So that's number one, okay? Number two. Tomorrow, rain chance comes down, temperature goes up. It's going to get even hotter looking at our Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, even Saturday. It's going to be a scorcher, as a matter of fact. Then the rain chances kind of finally start to rise up just a little bit. In terms of temperatures, though, there's your heat. We're not necessarily talking about widespread heat, but there is some heat to it, right? 95 for Wednesday, 96 for Thursday. Look, not to make y'all jealous, but I'm going to be in New England on those days, which kind of makes me wonder what the forecast is looking like. All right, let me do this. Let's dial up just for fun, and not because I haven't seen it. Let's check out the forecast for Portland, Maine. There's my buddy Ted. Let's listen to Ted, hear what he has to say.
Hi, Kevin Gardner at Patriot Subaru, Service Manager. Along with two other service managers, Paul and Glenn, we have a team of over 50 people in our service and parts departments. We're very fortunate to be in the position we are, serving so many customers every day. Without you, there's no Patriot Subaru. Knowledgeable advisors who work with you when you drive in. Highly skilled techs who diagnose.
All right, So that's an ad. Let's try that again.
Hi, Kevin Gardner at Patriot Subaru, Service Manager. Along with two other service managers,
Come on.
Paul and Glenn.
Good Tuesday, everyone. I'm meteorologist Ted McInerney. We have an air quality alert today for wildfire smoke, unhealthy air, especially for folks in sensitive groups, asthmatics, and any other respiratory issues. You'll feel it today, and everybody kind of will either see it, smell it, or feel it a little bit too, kind of making you feel a little sluggish today. We're looking at a flood watch too as a secondary threat for the afternoon into the evening hours because of thunderstorms. Areas like Vermont, New Hampshire, and even our areas of our foothills of mountains can't take much more water. So if we get a thunderstorm that drops an inch and a half real quickly, it could spark up a flash flood warning across that area. So let's look at the latest data coming in. We're going to have that hazy sky with clouds building in by the afternoon. Thunderstorms are beginning in the mountains first, and then there's a linear feature starting to develop around 3 o'clock.
Linear feature.
That's a concern for maybe some gusty winds with some of these thunderstorms. You can see at 6 o'clock there's a healthy
so it's going to rain
thunderstorm
today.
building right now in or at the 6 p.m. hour in York County. So there's some torrential rain, and then during the evening hours, still a couple more thunderstorms before we clear out after midnight. One good news is that front that brings in the storms will clear the smoke out of here and also knock out the humidity, which is
So I'll be there tomorrow with no
upper
smoke or
70s to
humidity.
low 80s, but still quite muggy today. On the 8-day forecast, you'll notice that tomorrow will start off with fog,
83
with sun
tomorrow.
and warmth
Oh,
tomorrow. Good looking
look
day
at that
across the area.
forecast.
Very isolated chance for a thunder shower. But the humidity starts to fade tomorrow. It looks less humid on Thursday. We're looking at storms likely on Friday. Not a 100% washout, but looking likely. And a few afternoon storms possible on Saturday, but looks good Sunday.
Ted, my man, thank you. Sidebar: I'm definitely going to be visiting that station Wednesday night. I'll be swinging by. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. I'm going to go hang out at WMTW. I don't know that I've told the wife yet. Is Sheets up there? I can do that. These nightly temps and less humidity you're going to enjoy. Oh, you Gewalt. I will. Meanwhile, I'll still be here talking about this with y'all. Anybody recognize those graphics, by the way? Denise says, I'm from Vermont. Family all lives there. Our poor little New England state was devastated. Yeah, it's true. It's true. So much flooding up there. Oh, I don't care. Fine. Understood. WMTW, which we've turned it into Maine's Total Weather. What's even fun is that I can take that top left graphic where it says WESH and I can make it WMTW. I'm not going to, but you get the idea. All right. All right. So, 7-day forecast. Heat, humidity. You know I'm going to rub it in. It wouldn't be me if I didn't rub it in. That's okay. Mother Nature's throwing a little stress my way in the terms of the tropics, which we will talk about in a minute. So anyway, showers and storms. Okay, so tropics. Let's talk about it. First off, we've got now full tropical storm Dawn. It's no longer a subtropical storm. Dawn weakened, got stronger again. Here's a look at the latest satellite. Just to give you perspective, there's the United States on the left, the Azores on the right, and kind of hanging out near the Azores is Tropical Storm Dawn. And of course, just for perspective, there's Spain and Portugal, all right? So it's way out in the middle of nowhere. Spinning around, it's not all that well organized, but what's funny about Dawn, this little bugger, Dawn's going to just do kind of a loop-de-loop. Staying a tropical storm, we do anticipate Dawn to keep winds of about 45, 50 or so miles an hour and basically just rack up ace points. Little bit by little bit by little bit. I haven't built the graphic yet, but I will for our tracking the tropics deal that we do in a little bit. But the ace points are now up to, hold on, it's loading. I'm getting off of the Phil Klotzbach database here. All right, so ace points. Yeah, so we're at 10.8 ace points. The average is 7.5. So we're not, wickedly above it, but there you go. So there's Dawn, not a threat, obviously, to anybody or anything. Elsewhere in the tropics, let's take a look over here. Let it load. Give it a second. Not much else. But let's come over to the coast of Africa. Pretty decent little wave coming off the coast of Africa. And this is a wave that is really interesting. And if not this one, then the next one. The models, though, are starting to want to do a thing. Yeah. Elizabeth, hey guys, here from Florida, brought Dawn with me. Yeah. Dawn, no. Where's the one that's not going to let you cruise? You hush your mouth, Frank. All right, so this is it, though. All right, so models are wanting to chew on some fat out here. Little wave coming off the coast of Africa. Maybe something interesting to watch. So let's pop up the raw model data. This is the raw GFS, okay? And if you're new to Coffee Talk, cool, welcome. What we do is we like to really dissect things, okay? Erica says, going to the Bahamas this weekend on a cruise. First cruise, little nervous. Any storms to worry about? No. When I go to the Bahamas for a cruise, though, we may have something to at least watch. So good times. All right, so top center of your screen, that bluish, greenish, kind of purplish dot, that's dawn. What we're looking at is anomalous pressure. So the yellows and orange, the warm colors, high pressure. The cool colors, low pressure. All right. GFS has been a little fakakta. Can I say that? So there's Dawn doing Dawn's thing. Meanwhile, right at the bottom of your screen, you kind of see where it says forecast high. There's a couple little dots, like a little donut in the shade of red, right where the K is in talk, that little blue dot down there. That's the GFS wanting to throw something interesting into the Caribbean. That's the 27th of July. We'll take you in a little closer. All right, then it's a wave into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, this is way better for me personally, because if we look back one previous run, there was a nasty hurricane east of us. If we go back two previous runs, there was a wave around the Bahamas right about the time I'll be there. Three previous runs, there was like a major hurricane going into South Florida. So first off, why am I showing you all of this stuff? Because in Coffee Talk, we nerd out, number one. Number two, I really believe in full transparency to share with you the models and to give you the information on the models, okay? As my brother put it, and as if you've watched me a while, you know, computer models are, and I'm going to bring myself full screen here to be able to talk to the people in the back. Computer models are guidance, not gospel. I've seen the hype machine already going. Category 9 hurricane heading into Florida. Okay, well, each model run does each model run. Each model run is different, okay? So the most recent version, this is the 6E run, the most recent version kind of takes something into the Caribbean. That's the 28th of July. Works through the Caribbean, kind of gets into the Gulf, and then may try to do something toward like Texas, Mexico. That's August 3rd. But again, if you look at the different runs before it, there was a hurricane recurving and staying off of our east coast. 2 model runs ago, there was like a tropical wave into the Bahamas and then recurving. 3 model runs ago, you had a major hurricane going into South Florida. 4 model runs ago, you had a decent hurricane sitting off of our east coast. So, 1 model run, 1 model, don't trust it. Don't go crazy on it, okay? This is why I'm here. This is why I'm here, to give perspective, okay? So that's the GFS. Let's look at the European, and then we're going to look at the ensembles, all right? So here's the European. There's Dawn, center of your screen there. Dawn's doing Dawn's thing. That's as far as you have to understand, the way the European runs is the 6 and 18Z only go 90 hours. The 0 and the 12Z only go 240, and then we can kind of get into a controlled ensemble. So just roll with me. European, maybe trying to throw some sort of a tropical wave out there, but nothing impressive. Good. Okay, now let's do this. Let's switch back to the GFS, but let's look at the ensemble plots, okay? The ensemble plots will give us an idea of kind of model consensus, etc., etc. How many different members are trying to sniff out different things, and we'll do that, okay? All right, so here's the ensembles. There's Dawn at the center of your screen. Kind of starting to see some members around Florida. Let's just switch over to the Caribbean view. Notice there's a couple of little lows. You see 1,004 in the Gulf. You see 998 off of like Fort Lauderdale, 1,005 out near like the Central Bahamas, and a couple of ensembles. But, when we look at the WISE minimums, you kind of get an idea. There's a couple products that are trying to do stuff. That's the GFS. Let's switch over to the European. Okay. Now, the European... The European is trying to throw a couple of little ensemble models with something around. So it's sniffing it out. So, do I think that we're going to get kerslapped with a hurricane? Way too early to tell. But are some of the ensembles starting to think about things? Yes, that they are. And so to that point, let's do this, that, at this point in time, it's just too early. Yeah, at this point in time, it's just too early to tell anything. So let's just do this. We'll track it. We'll keep our eyes on it. But for right now, we're just we're watching. That's the ensemble perspectives for tropical depressions through the 28th of July. And obviously, that's the area that we're watching for dawn. So the models are just starting to sniff stuff out, but we'll watch. We'll see. Debbie, as far as models, which gives us better option in terms of hurricane early August? I don't even know what you mean by better gives us the better option. They're both good models. They both have their goods and their bad. It's, what it is? I've never done this, but I would imagine it's like dating twins. They're both great, but they have their quirks. So you have to figure out which one we go. That's all. We'll just watch it. Tropical storms kind of stink when on a cruise ship. Been through 2. Yeah, and I have no desire to do that. But, this is what we do know. There's some moisture coming off of Africa. And when we look at the Saharan air layer, there's plenty of dust still out there. So it will be interesting to see, what ends up happening. Like if we look at the dust forecast, watch how there's another flow of dust, and then there's kind of a little window of not as much. So, there's plenty of Saharan dust out there now, but, do tropical systems find the moisture? Like, we'll have to watch and see how that plays out, right? Could that potential tropical storm be part of the LRC pattern, Nicole? Maybe. It would be late for Nicole. It would be late for Nicole, yeah. But, we're watching it. Listen, and that's one of those things we're going to do a much deeper dive on our 10 a.m. Tracking the Tropics. Jeremy and I are going to do a full-on deep dive on it to discuss where in the pattern this could be, bring Jeremy's expertise in. He's the guy that studies, I kind of focus, if I'm honest, I kind of focus on the patterns that impact land. Jeremy's got this mental snapshot of all the other stuff. So Jeremy will be interesting to talk to him about how this may play in, right? Brian, I thought it was too early in the hurricane season for storms to form out in the Atlantic Ocean. Now I thought all formations this time of year were usually in the Gulf of Mexico. What's causing accelerated Atlantic Ocean formations this early in the season? Good question, Brian. So a couple things. It's never too early to develop stuff anywhere, but here we are in the month of July, and typically during the month of July, we start to widen the envelope out. Usually you start to get the Caribbean and the extreme western Atlantic. But remember, our ocean temperatures are much warmer than normal. So they're more reflective of an August pattern, and there's your August development zones. So it's not surprising. It's not the most fun in the world, but yeah, it's not surprising. Good times. Yeah, the Saharan dust. I know that animation is something, isn't it? It's really something. So that's kind of where we're at, friends. But in terms of at least seasons, we're sitting on our 5th named storm. Through today, we normally have 2.1 named storms. So we're running above average in that department. But the ocean temperatures are just, they're just boiling. They're still sitting at record warmth. And what you're looking at, just to give you an idea, I changed the color table by one thing. Around average water temperature is now gray. That was my big tweak that I did the other day. Manolfi and I were talking about it. So like you've got some normal water temperatures, even some cooler than normal water, probably being upwelled by dawn. No surprise there. But anywhere you see yellows or oranges or reds, that's warmer than average water temperatures. So basically the entire development zone, most of the Caribbean is running well above, like these yellows, that's like a degree or two above average. But, you get anything around Florida, we're in for some real interesting times. And again, this is something we're going to talk much deeper about at 10 o'clock for Tracking the Tropics. Gray water and gray land. Yes, but I assume, listen, I assume you can decipher the difference between water and land. If we're talking about up here, I assume that you can decipher that a state line will help explain it. All the wind shear, though. Would be cool if you had a graphic that showed the different levels of wind shear. We do, Elizabeth. It's... yeah, we've got upper level graphics. But we don't usually don't dig them out very often unless there's a need for it. But I've got all the products. We've got all the data. So anyway, any other questions regarding the tropics, regarding our local forecast, anything? Deb says that scares me about the water temp. It's not to be scared. Remember, when it comes down to it, the goal here is not to be scared. The goal here is to be prepared. The goal is to be understanding. I am fully transparent on as much model data as I can, because you're going to see people posting computer model data. Like if one person had posted that GFS 3 runs ago that had like a major hurricane into South Florida, that would probably scare some people. I was just in the corner laughing. And it's funny because, and we haven't told the kids yet, but it's like we're going on our cruise. And I joked with the wife and I'm like, oh, look, the GFS has a hurricane hitting right when we're supposed to be out there. And she starts stressing out. And I'm like, listen, that's 380 hours out. I would, so much rather have that hitting Florida at 380 hours out than have it hitting Florida at 96 hours out. Because when you're way out there, like the models are good, but they're not good. You know what I mean? So totally okay with that. Now, we're 100 hours out and the models show that kind of stuff, then I'm going to be a little frustrated. But for now, look, the GFS is throwing everybody a hurricane, and that's fine. They'll figure it out, and we'll get there. Jessica says, with water close to us being much higher than normal, could that cause rapid intensity or intensification if anything comes close? Yes, Jessica. That's why I said, hopefully we don't get a storm anywhere near us while these water temperatures are just that blasted hot. Jackie, for this season, I was trying to find your map of where you predict the hot spots would be for when a hurricane storm hits land. Can you show me where that is for the season? Sure. So again, and it's unchanged, I always invite all y'all to join us, wesh.com/hurricane. You can get our entire hurricane forecast there. But to answer your question, there are our hotspots for this year. So hopeful that, nothing happens while I'm trying to be on my cruise. But yeah, there's the hotspots. But again, wesh.com/hurricane forecast. It's there. Yeah. Denise says, I'm confused. Will we see a hurricane? Sounded like it wasn't near Florida. Way too early to tell, at least in terms of these models. But what I can tell you is it's just time to start watching. And I joked saying that the GFS model wants to give everybody a hurricane all the time. But if you notice the last the last 10 runs of the GFS, it's trying to sniff something out. Where it goes, the GFS is windshield wipering. And that's fine. Windshield wiper all you want. Stay the heck away from me. All right? That's where we're at. As Becca said, and it's true, models are guidance, not gospel. Okay? All right, people, that's it for now. in an hour and a half, let's do this again. The Tracking the Tropics Facebook Live. Jeremy and I are going to be talking about dawn, dust, El Nino, and whatever else is popping up. Stephanie's asking, how can I view the 10 a.m.? If you're watching me now on YouTube, Stephanie, for example, you can watch the 10 a.m. broadcast in the exact same spot. We'll be right here, the exact same spot. So I'll see you at 10 a.m. for Tracking the Tropics Tuesdays. All right? All right. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. See you at 10 a.m. Bye.